The Deelucks Franco 45 podcast is for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another edition of the Deelucks Franco 45. I'm your host, Lucky Kalangis, talking NFL, 5 games against the spread, Westgate Super Contest style, and on the line with me, as always, the Brentwood Greaser, Mr. Minimum Bet Blackjack, Mark Franco. Franco, what's up?
Hey, Lucky, what's going on, bud? How are you?
Another great week of football futility for us, I think. Both 2-3 last week and looking to improve.
Yes, indeed. I have also gone 2-3, and we are not improving as we go along here, Luck. We need to turn this around.
That's what we're looking to do. Undaunted.
Okay.
We're coming back for another week. Trying to see if we can hang with the big boys in Vegas, and it's pretty clear from this point, at this stage of the game, we cannot, and we'd both easily be out of $1,500. But anyway, let's take a look at what we did. Let's take a look at the carnage from last week.
Carnage from last week.
Yes, it wasn't terrible, but it was a losing week for both of us, so it wasn't great. What was your worst? What was your worst pick? I mean, I'm going to say my worst pick from last week was the absolute worst pick of the history of this podcast, which is now in its 8th week, I think. What was yours?
Which one? Well, my worst pick. I don't know if you've had the worst one. We'll get to that because I've had a couple really bad ones. I know we're vying for the best worst one of the year so far, but I have 2 that will rebut yours. But my worst one this week, there's one this week that might be worse than your worst of the year, which is the Cincinnati game. That it was the dumbest pick probably of the year, unless you have something to rebut that. Cincinnati going into Kansas City. Yeah,
and I was on the opposite side of that.
6 points, and I think they were down 6 before the game started.
Right.
So
it seemed like.
I mean, yeah, it was that lopsided, that ugly. I have lost faith in Cincinnati. Andy Dalton, when he gets on TV, I don't know what happens.
Yeah, that was it. That was my angle from last week.
His balls go away. His dick shrinks up. I don't know what happens to that redheaded ginger boy, but he just fucking sucks on TV. Yes. He cannot stand TV. He hates TV. So I have had it with him. So Cincinnati, by far, they lost by a ton. I stopped watching after
that was
the first
sleeper pick of the season. They've they've lost 2 games in a row. Now they're 4-3.
I still have to go. I still will say that they'll make the playoffs, and hopefully they can come back and beat Tampa Bay. And when we get to my picks, that might be happening. So
they're back at home. They're back at home, and the game is not a national televised game. So it's only.
Let's put that on the back burner as a little tease, because I might go with Cincinnati after I trash them right now in the bad beat section.
Well, we do that all the time, right?
That was awful. I know it's Kansas City and they're going in there, and it's they're hot and the kid can throw at the zillion yards.
Money Mahomes. I mean, we might as well talk about my genius pick of the week now, because that was my genius pick. I was like, I'm going to Money Mahomes. Right.
We went against each
right?
other.
And that's where that was. Money Mahomes at home. Dalton is usually terrible in primetime games. Arrowhead Stadium with is always a tough place to play in. And and then from that was like the one pick I didn't have to worry about all week. Right from the start, game was over. And it was a lot of fun watching it. Well, it was fun watching it a little bit in prime time for maybe the first 20 minutes, and then it was quickly.
Especially if you're on the right side of it, which you were, and I was not.
Yeah, I never really had to worry, but it didn't provide all that much drama. So your worst pick and my best pick out of the way.
Your best pick
and
of the
one
week. And my best
swoop.
pick.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say my best pick was, of course the Patriots won. I knew that was happening. That was our consensus. Yep. You knew that was happening. Not as much as I thought they'd win by.
It's Consenseless now, because we're 5. Our consensus picks are 5 and 7, and as long as they're under 500, we're going to call them Consenseless.
Yeah, that's bad. But the Patriots won. But I would say I only had 2 wins. The other win I had was a good one. Thursday night. I'm getting hot on Thursday night, Lucky. Watch out. Watch out on Thursday night.
That is the one thing this podcast has been doing. It's Thursday night. Franco Thursday. You've been
Thursday night,
crushing
I'm getting hot. I've won 3 in a row now.
Yeah.
If you want to gamble on Thursday night, listen to me, because Denver went into Arizona and beat the bag out of Arizona. So
they did.
As much as Cincy got a beating in Kansas City, Denver put a whooping on Arizona, and that was an easy cover from the get-go. So I would say that was my best pick of the week, even though I only had 2 wins. Patriots, great, but Denver, that was a good one. And Thursday night is hot. Stay on Thursday night.
I was tempted to include the Thursday night game in my picks this week, but I didn't want to steal your thunder. I'm just gonna leave Thursday to Franco.
Thursday's my night. Don't fuck with it.
Yeah, don't mess with Franco on Thursday. Let's get to my worst pick, and I think this is going to vie for the worst pick of the pod. I took the 7.5 points for the Bills in Indianapolis, with the rationale being is like, after Nate Peterman, how bad could Derek Anderson be? And of course, Derek Anderson having not played football, having not started a football game for like the last 3 years, I just totally forgot how bad Derek Anderson is.
I told you that. You were picking that, and I was like, dude, they have no quarterback at all.
But and also like the Bills play hard, their defense plays hard. They upset, they upset Minnesota and Minnesota.
Are you kidding?
Well, no,
One of their defensive guys quit at halftime. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, they love to play hard.
No, they play so hard. They play so hard. Guys retire at halftime because they're playing so hard.
That's how hard the Bills play. I'm gonna get my car. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. That's how hard the Bills play. They're a tough group, Luck. Come on.
Look, there was always a chance this could happen. It's the Bills did force 2 3-and-out drives to start the game, and it was 0-0 for quite a long stretch of the first quarter. But then once Indy started scoring, and the Bills' defense realized that our offense can't score.
Did you just say quite a long stretch during the first quarter?
Yeah, quite a long stretch of that first quarter was scoreless. It was scoreless.
There's not a long stretch during the first quarter.
Well, actually, I was wrong.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron. You can't say long stretch during the first quarter.
The entire first quarter was scoreless. 0-0 after one quarter, and I was feeling pretty good because I had 7.5 points. So after the first quarter of that game, I was winning. But then, like I thought could happen, I was a little bit worried. Yes, the Colts found the end zone. They got a big lead, and then that was it. Derek Anderson was not the solution in Buffalo.
Yeah, that was a bad. I think I will give that to you.
Worst pick of the podcast in the history of the podcast.
I will give you the crown of worst
all 8
pick
weeks.
of the podcast.
Yes, I'll own it.
That was a bad
I'm gonna
one.
wear it. So we already discussed my genius pick. My bad beat of the week. I'll get into that real quick. And, we always joke about how nobody listens to this podcast. But you know who listens to this podcast? Cam Newton listens to this podcast because a week ago when I needed Cam Newton to backdoor, to lead a touchdown drive to backdoor cover, and he couldn't do it against the Redskins, I was like, there's one quarterback I do not want trying to lead me down the field for a backdoor cover, and that's Cam Newton. Well, I went with the Eagles over the Panthers in Philly, very confident, and after 3 quarters, the Eagles led 17-0.
17-zip.
And motivated by my pick against him again, Cam Newton this time came back and not, 1 touchdown? No, I'm going to get 3 touchdowns just to make Lucky look bad. And he did. He got 3 touchdowns, and somehow I lost that game. And, hats off, fedoras off to Cam Newton. He came back and overcame a 17-0.
If Cam Newton's listening, then I guess Eli must be listening too, because he fucked me the same way with the Monday night game. So I guess both Cam and Eli are kicking back, having a few beers, and saying, fuck Lucky and Franco. That's what they do. They listen to us.
That's one. That's one feather in Eli's cap this season. He did mess up. He did mess up your cover.
He backdoored me on Monday night. So both of them are just.
And he'll have a chance to. And he'll have a chance to mess with me this week too, as we get into our picks. But what did you have? Was that your bad beat of the week? Eli coming back?
Well, my worst pick of the week was Cincinnati. We already went over.
Well, I know that was your bad, but what was your bad beat? The game that you had in the bag.
My TV throw through the window.
Yes,
was my Giants.
Sony Trinitron, throw it out the
Trinitron
window.
special was the Giants. That backdoor cover with what? You have 14 seconds left. Eli gets stuffed twice to the goal line.
To the goal line.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
So much comedy.
Eli's such a bad athlete that he can't even sneak it. I mean, Tom Brady isn't the best runner, but Tom Brady's like 98% on sneak.
Yes, I know.
Eli cannot take a snap
twice in a row,
and he can't physically take a step and fall over.
Forward.
That's how bad he is at doing anything. And
awful.
Sure enough, he throws a pass. With
Somehow
12
it's
seconds
Odell
left,
catches
just
it.
the backdoor cover. Bullshit.
5 seconds. So, they scored with 5 seconds left.
5 seconds? Was it 5?
Yep.
So that was the Trinitron out the window, fuckers. That was a tough one. So.
What was the spread in that one? Did they needed the 2 points?
Well, I got it at 5.5, but it came down
so
to
it didn't
4.
matter. It didn't matter.
It got down to 4 at halftime, but it ended up 3 at the end. But
didn't matter whether they got the 2-pointer or not.
Mine was 5.5, but a lot of people got screwed by the 2-point conversion at the end too.
Right.
They got the touchdown, and then it was at 5, and then they scored the 2-point conversion to go to 3. So
and then the people that had the that had the 4, I mean, they were probably excited about the fact that they went for 2 after they scored the first touchdown, leaving the score at 28-12, and I'm like, what the heck are you guys doing here?
Yeah, the Giants coach is definitely not the brightest guy.
And then simple.
That's simple math.
All the quants on social media are like, well, that's really the correct play because, if you do that, 50% of the time you're going to get the 2, and then you're kicking for the win if you get the next possession. But not when you have Eli Manning as your quarterback. And I would have had no confidence in them being able to convert a 2-point play unless maybe you're handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley, straight up the middle instead of what the Giants do, which they send him out on a flat and a screen pass in the flat where he gets buried in the backfield. Not that offense. I mean, that offense, the Giants racked up over 400 yards of offense in that game, and they scored 20 points, which tells you that they're getting all the yards between the 20s. Once they get in the red zone, they can't score. And if you can't score in the red zone, you probably shouldn't go for 2 when you don't have to.
They can only score in the red zone with 5 seconds left in the game to fuck me over. That's the only time they can score in the red zone. Right. The only time they can score in the red zone is the end of the game, 5 seconds left, when they can't win the game, and they say, oh, it's time to cover.
It's time to screw Franco, because I'm tired of this podcast guy.
Let's cover this one. We'll lose, but make sure anyone who bet on Atlanta gets the old fucking non-cover. So that was my Trinitron out the window.
All right. I'll also throw in as an honorable mention of my bad beat of the week was the Disarray in the UK game. Like always picking against
Clipper
teams
game.
that are in the Clippers, the LA football Clippers, and they didn't have the running back, and I probably should have known that going in. Melvin Gordon III didn't play. But my whole theory on that game is that look, the Titans aren't going to score any more than 17 points, and I think the Chargers will score at least 24, and that's a 7. I was getting 6.5. Well, the Titans did score more than 17. They scored 19, and unfortunately, the Chargers were only able to generate 20 points of offense despite getting 2 big plays that they scored touchdowns on. And of course, I'll stand by that pick. I think it was the right pick because I was covering all the way till the final play of the game, just like you. And somehow Marcus Mariota is able to throw a touchdown pass. Although I was happy when I saw that he dropped back for a pass on 4th and goal from the 1. I'd rather he throw the ball than hand off to Dion Lewis. He threw the ball. Unfortunately, it was caught by their tight end, touchdown. And then, of course, they go for 2 like idiots because. Look, if I want a quarterback and an offense going for 2, I don't want it to be a Marcus Mariota. Just kick the extra point and go to overtime. Another bad call, I thought. Yeah,
you pretty much can't stand by your losing picks, though, Luck. Definitely that.
I stand by this losing pick.
No, you can't do it because you can't take the ticket, the standby ticket, to the window and explain to the lady, "Oh, this was a good pick." I'm telling you. can I get my money? No, she will not give you the money for that pick.
I'm 1-1. I'm 1-1 in my Disarray in the UK picks, and I'm going for it again this week. So just a foreshadow.
You're going London again.
I'm just foreshadowing that right now.
Then start it up. You start.